Good morning, everybody. It's been a interesting few days. And when God wakes you up at 4:55, you're like, okay, what am I up for? So the one thing that just I kept hearing was, oh, the tangled webs we weave. So I just posted this on Facebook, and I'm sure you have um, people in your life. This famous, oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. Means that when you lie or act dishonestly, you are initiating problems and a domino structure of complications, which eventually run out of control. I've always been a truth teller. I've always been a truth seeker. And I've always called people out on their BS. That's who I've always been. And if you ask anybody about Natalie, they'll tell you you know where you stand with her at all times because she is a straight shooter. So when you're thrown into a huge pile of nonsense, thrown into the wolves unjustly, you put up your dukes. But you first arm yourself with him. Because you can't go wrong when you arm yourself with him. You never can. Never. And you just don't know when you turn your life over to him where he's going to lead you. And you just got to buckle in and enjoy the ride. Not question anything, just go with the flow. And that's what I've been doing. And even more so since I got evicted. You know, I've asked for food from my extended family at the market that I was buying stuff from them constantly to supplement my diet and the girls because I could only have certain types of foods. Oh, and at 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a video with my doctor that will be uploaded as well. That's scheduled. But anyway, it's truly amazing how when you realize, when you fully surrender to him, how you have the peaks and the valleys. It's like being on a boat that has waves, and then all of a sudden you just start sailing along. So waking up at 4:55 was not a coincidence. Or 5:55, I'm sorry, not 4:55, 5:55. Was not a coincidence. Because today it's all about La Casa. It's all about Casa. And I've been chit-chatting with one of my soul sisters here in the Florida Keys. And for an hour, via text message, we've been going back and forth. Because I was enlightening her about another soul sister back in Elkhart, Indiana, that's got my back just like I've got hers. And anybody else's that has ever been in my life. Even those that have deceived me, I've still had their backs, despite them earning it. Because, again, that's the power of him. That's the power of him. So, for 2 years, I've been meeting with a Christian sister every Wednesday. And on the day of the eviction, the official eviction, where I was going to be escorted off the premises, this Christian sister started attacking me. Well, attempting to attack me. First, I wasn't talking loud enough or she couldn't understand me. So I raised my voice. Then I was shouting at her. I mean, at the end of the day, the prior day, I was served papers. And it wasn't even 24 hours at the time that we met, which was at 10 o'clock every Wednesday for the last 2 years, except for certain things that would come up. So I'm served that I'm to be evicted the following day. I don't know which way it's going to go. Am I going to get to stay or am I going to get to go? Well, my attorney didn't do his job, obviously, because he's dirty. He didn't do anything to help me. Because I didn't crawl into bed with him and didn't swim naked in his pool. How else am I going to look at it? So, I'm either going to get to stay or I'm going to get to go. There is nothing else that I needed on my plate. And for anybody to have thought that I needed anything on my plate outside of what I'm dealing with at the moment, frankly, had not been listening. What would you do? What would you do if the night before, well, it was like 3:30 or something like that. I can't remember the exact time. The sheriff shows up, knocking on your door, telling you, tomorrow he's going to show up with an attorney and escort you off the premises. Yeah, I went into shock. There's no doubt. Because I truly could not believe that I was myself potentially facing eviction. I was a tax collector for 18 and a half years, and I did a duty serve and continued to do it even after clients left my practice. Because that's the honor that I took on in that profession. So this individual, I said, you know what? How about you say these things instead? Rather than more what ifs. I don't need any more what ifs. I got enough on my plate right now. You don't want to listen. You just want to hear what I want to tell you. Well, guess what? Today, I'm pretty sure I earned that right. And that's how I felt the day that I was facing eviction. Because I put my boundaries up and I was protecting myself from any more undue stress that I didn't need. Because everybody knows, and if you don't know, if you're a new subscriber, a new watcher of my videos, all my doctors have told me ever since I was in the hospital on April 15th of 2019, having chest pain, that I had to avoid stress. And pretty much, if I didn't get out of the industry, I was going to die with a healthy heart. And I have a very huge giving heart, and always have been and always will, until he calls me home. So, for someone like a Christian sister to attack me, you want to talk about the evil that's out in this world? I seriously could not believe it. So instead of our normal 1 hour conversation, she cut it short. Didn't even ask me what I wanted to pray about. Said a prayer as fast as she could to hang up. And then she ended our 2-year relationship. And even after I sent her the videos, one video, no comment. Now, I'm sorry, but that's not of him, because you don't turn your back on a Christian in need. That is not of God. This is a person that constantly said to me, there's another open door. There's another open door. There's another open door. And what'd she do? She slammed the door right in my face. How else would I look at that? I didn't do anything wrong. All I did is protect myself. And by protecting myself, she slammed the door in my face? I didn't deserve that. I love her like a sister. I do still to this day, and I always will. But she's going to have to deal with the demons that are attacking her, because they are in full force right now, and they are everywhere. The sweet little family, the Jehovah's Witnesses that I played cornhole with, and Hannah was having a ball chasing those beanbags, and the son videotaped. Let me tell you what this little family did yesterday. Well, the husband. She was so excited to go to the sunset. It's kind of like our little thing together. Because her nickname is Hannah Banana, and we're at the Banana Bay Resort in Marina. And she is almost like the greeter. She just is. She's just taken on this role. And Harley chooses to stay in bed because, it's a lot for her. Because she's going to be 17. This is her birthday month. So Hannah was, really going out of her mind because we went a little earlier, it seemed like, or people were just coming later for the sunset. So she was about going crazy trying to figure out what she was going to do with herself because she didn't have anybody to go greet and love on and them love on her. So the crowd started forming. And this family, the Jehovah's Witnesses, came and started playing cornhole again. And so she saw him. So she wanted to go see him again. And of course she started chasing the cornhole bags. Of course she's not hurt nothing. They're not even perfect. One's full. There's only 3 of them. There's only 3 bags, and one of them's packed full, and the other ones there's barely any beans in them. But anywho, so she goes and gets them, and the husband takes it away from her and pretends like he throws it towards the water. And she just looks at him. And I watch it all. And I'm like, So last night we played together, and it was okay for her. And then I give them little prayer papers with my YouTube channel on the back. So I'm guessing they tuned in, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. I'm guessing they did, though, because their behavior spoke volumes to me. Actions speak louder than words. They always have for Natalie. And I am all about body language. Learned that early on in my youth. And so I walked over to grab her and apologized, and and then there was a gal sitting, and she was wanting to love on her. And so Hannah just sat down right with her. I said, "It's okay, Hannah. She's going to love on you." And they quickly left. That's not him. That's not him at all. If you are strong in your Christian faith, you fear nothing and no one. Guilty. I've been following my Bible my whole life. I may not have adhered to with my own behavior sometimes, but since arriving in the Florida Keys, that's all I've been about. And then when I became a minister, oh boy, it was no less than the way I acted as a tax collector all those years. Everybody knows Natalie. No matter where I went, everybody talked to me about taxes. So why would I not be in a profession that I'm going to talk about? And what better time in this world to be spreading love and kindness and God's word than right now in the end of times. And I'm doing it daily. Wherever I go, in the stores I go to, it doesn't matter. I mean, I met these sweet girls at the Dollar General and subscribed to their YouTube channel. So, it's really interesting how, like I said, you buckle in, you're on this, and all of a sudden you get to smooth sailing. So the tangled webs we weave do catch up with those who do deceive. And you can't keep telling lies upon lies upon lies. That's like that's like the definition of insanity. Repeating the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. If you're continuing to lie, when is it going to end? The only time it's going to end is when you come clean and tell the truth. And one way, he's going to get it to come to the surface. Justice will prevail. I've been about law and justice my whole life, even though I wasn't an attorney. So, when someone knowingly deceives you, so that you could appear to be a lawbreaker, well, that's never going to sit well with me, nor should it sit well with anyone. So today's going to be a really interesting day, how it all pans out. But Princess Hannah Grace, my service dog, will be going everywhere with me today. Because if there is something that I have learned ever since I was little, is animals are great judges of character. Why else would man require them to be on leashes? Why don't the dogs run free? You know the song, Who Let the Dogs Out? Yeah, that'd be a play right here, right now. Because they sniff out justice, and they sniff out the lies and the destruction constantly. Hannah has been quiet as a church mouse, and she's not on guard here at this resort, except for one guest that came to stay. And I'm telling you right now, it was unreal how different she was. And this gentleman was out of control on a Sunday morning, and I haven't seen him since. I think he was one overnight guest one night, and it was probably just as well, because he was afraid of me and my girls, and they weren't doing anything. And when I heard his foul mouth on Sunday morning and saw the tattoo on his back with a skull with a pistol in the mouth blowing the brains out, I knew he had a darkness attached to him, and I could feel it, and so did my girls. Well, he felt Jesus on me and my girls, and backed away and couldn't even come near us. He couldn't even enter the building that we were in, And I just started singing the Bible song, and it echoed throughout the building when me and my girls walked up to our room. So it's he works in mysterious ways, and look what he's done for me in the last few days. The miracles that are piling up left and right. My Silence No More logo going on the Jeep, it's all about timing. And with God, it's all about timing, His timing. And you have to be patient. I'll have to look back to see when officially the Silence No More. Oh, well, I can look it up right now. Let's just go right to the source. Or at least it'll be a pretty close date to when okay, so August 4th is when I sent it to the sign place, because it was originally going to go on my Mustang. You know, I'm all about facts and figures. Always have been. Always will be. It's before June, as far back as I've gotten so far. So let's see here. Okay. So we really started working on it June 23rd. Around June is when we, in that vicinity. And let's see here. So right after that, yeah, June 23rd is when we finished it. So my logo has been done since June 23rd. And what did I say? August 4th is when I sent it to the sign place to put it on my Mustang. And then on Monday, after I got Bianca cleared for takeoff, I drove over there and they put Silence No More on the Jeep. See how God works? With everything going on overseas, everything going on here in every other country. You think this is a coincidence? That my Silence No More logo, that's beyond patriotic and appeals to everyone. Religion. The keys to success. The Statue of Liberty. The fireworks. About freedom. About God and country. Nowhere on my Silence No More is it about man. An angel with a trumpet, and out of the trumpet is bonus day, loving life, with hearts and gold stars and a cross and a peace sign. And the background of a Florida, it can be a sunrise or a sunset, depending on what time of day you look at it. Nat 333 in the middle of no, the N, Nat 333. The scroll of the logo, that's our government trying to erase history, and you can't erase history. You can't undo what has already been done. But we can prevent it from ever happening again. The torch for Lady Liberty rolled up in this part of the scroll. The American flag that is so perfectly placed inside the N and silenced, that flows through the angel's wings, that comes out with the trumpet. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. And I heard it from my soul sister in Elkhart, Indiana last night, Miss Beverly. Nurse Beverly. She said the timing couldn't be more perfect. When you have been constantly ridiculed and badgered your entire life, and you try to figure out how you can make a difference in the world, even though people said, don't worry about everybody else, worry about yourself. It made me so upset that people had that mindset. I couldn't even wrap my head around it. So when you are constantly ridiculed, and you know tax collecting is just not something you can do anymore because you finally had enough and said when. So you try to figure out, even though you're incapacitated for 2 years, how you can make a living and make a difference in this world. So I spent hours and hours every freaking day searching, researching, learning, relearning things that I lost from my blood clots. Yet even though those efforts are still ridiculed, how are you going to make a living? Well, like Beverly said, timing is everything. And my silence no more on my Jeep for this road trip couldn't come at a better time in history. Because I'm fearless and I'm on borrowed time. I gave up my life. So my life is not my own anymore. It hasn't been since I woke up on October 16th of 2019, crying out to God in the hospital. What do you want from me? I don't know anymore. Well, when I arrived in the Keys, I knew what he wanted. He wanted me to use my glorious voice that he gave me for the greater good, so that justice is served. And it's piling up all over me. And my journey was all about justice. And I was to pay attention. And I did, because I have always been a person to pay attention to detail. Always. And I've always been a numbers girl. And its numbers are loaded in the Bible. Heck, there's a whole frickin' book in the Bible on numbers. That's no new way of looking at the Bible. 40 days, 40 nights. There's numbers everywhere in the Bible. So, putting Nat 333 on my license plate, it was a call to Jesus, Jeremiah 3:33. So every person that reads it doesn't even realize what they're doing. So now my logo has got Nat 333 in it, and everybody that sees it Every time I pass out a prayer, it's a call to Jesus. It's a call to Jesus, and he's answering. He's answering my calls. And he has been ever since I arrived here, despite all of the constant ridicules and banter and me becoming homeless. I never thought that I would be able to handle being homeless with grace. Despite how hurtful being thrown into that was, and could have been prevented had the individual that made promises followed through on his promise. I don't need a script. I speak from my heart. And I always have my whole life. Why people want to hurt those who help others are not following his teachings. That's the devil. That's the demons that have walked into their life, and they're allowing them to steal their joy and trying to afflict those of us with their sicknesses. Well, I, for one, will not allow that to happen. Just like I was not going to allow anyone to mistreat my beloved Hannah Grace. I may not have had children, but these two girls are my kids. And the fact that Harley is in her 17th year birthday month is a testament. Because all you got to do is look back in August of how bad she was doing. And I started praying for her to live. And that's what I asked everybody else to start doing. Let's pray for Harley to live. Let's not pray for her for a smooth transition. So when I've been told by others that people have been given a fate of X amount of time to live, I said, well, how about you defy the odds and stop listening to man and start praying to God? What do you got to lose? Not a darn thing. Because it's on God's timing that they leave this earth, not man's. Man can predict it all day long. That's not how it works. That's not how he works. And don't let others tell you that God is the one that's punishing you. This guy down here, he's the one. He's the one that inflicts pain and suffering. Oh, he'll tell you everything you want to hear. But where's the follow through? When you're down on your luck, where's the follow through? Where's the follow through? It's not there. Because the lies keep piling up. They keep piling up. Let's read that thing again. That's so poetic in today's time. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. So, it's about time we unite together as Christians with our unconditional loving hearts and stop the lies and the deception from those who continue to speak it. Those are the ones that need to be silenced. And those of us that speak the truth with our loving hearts need to be silenced no more. Thank you to all of you who have tuned in and have been praying for me and my girls on this journey. Because I'm telling you, I'm gonna be holding that torch, and it's gonna be shining brightly. It's gonna be shining brightly for the world to see. And I hope all of you Christians out there with your lights start shining them too for the world to see. Let's unite. One nation under God. For justice for all. Once and for all. Let's stop this madness starting today. And trust me, those who are the deceptors, the liars, unless they surrender, they will flee. I guarantee it. Test my theory. Test it today. And if somebody comes at you, try singing the Bible song and watch them flee. Works every time. So, thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for your prayers. They're working. If you have a prayer request, drop it in my comments. I'll be happy to pray, and I will do it on a live video or one of my videos that I record to upload. Thank you. Love to all and all of you, bunches and bunches.